And lately, we've put him on some football film assignments. Once we put him on a bidet review, but the segment is called Dex Reviews. And if you guys have suggestions, like Judd just got a new iPhone, so maybe we have Judd as a guest host at some point next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
To talk about like face recognition.
I just
and
had
stuff.
to ask how to get back to the main menu. It's not off to a good start.
Swipe up.
It's not off to a good start.
Just throw it on the ground and stomp on it. That's how you do it. Really easy. So, all right, Dex, what are we reviewing this week here?
We will not be reviewing seasons of ER. That did not happen this weekend. But we will be doing...
is that a bad sign?
No, it's not a bad sign. It just never came up.
Oh, really?
It never happened. Never transpired.
Okay.
Never transpired. There was games played. There was fun things happening, but there was no
there was no ER. Okay.
What type of games were you playing?
A great new game. It's called Buzzed.
It's called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Declan.
Hidden Declan. It's a card game called Buzz. It's the game that keeps your friends hydrated in good ways. Highly recommend.
The game is called Buzzed.
This sounds like the exact type of game I have advised you not to play and just to drink instead.
Is this a game that you guys made up, or is it like
a card game? I bought it at Target.
Okay.
Yep. You draw a card, you read it, and if you are that person and that answer, you have to take a drink.
So it's like you have to raise your hand. Okay.
It's a fun game. It's a fun one. I recommend it.
All right.
Keeps your friends hydrated. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do Kwity Paye, the defensive end from Michigan. Football. So I went back. Couple things with Kwity Paye. I went back first. I watched the Gopher game because Michigan played the Gophers to kick off the 2020 season. It was a very forgettable game. Now, Kwity didn't make much of an impact in that game until the fourth quarter when the game was completely out of reach. But I believe he had back-to-back sacks in the fourth quarter on Tanner Morgan. And this is a guy who, on most mocks, is probably the second defensive end, to come off the board behind. Is it Rozo from Miami? Gregory Rozo. I liked what I saw from Kwity. So Kwity's supposed to go anywhere between 20 and like 14 on most big boards. And most, even Daniel Jeremiah just released his top 50 prospects. Kwity Paye is number 17 on this list. So he's in the range where the Vikings will be picking. Here's what I liked about him. He is quick. He is lean.
Yeah.
He is athletic. And I think the most important one.
Yeah.
Versatility. Outside or inside. He can go either or on sides of the line. Now, most scouts, from what I talked to some scouts last night, they think he's best served on the outside, but I like the versatility of putting him on the outside or the inside. And I know Judge Zolgad would also be a big fan because that's what we saw against the Saints in the playoff game last year at Daniil Hunter. They were able to move people around. So Kwity Paye, look at that guy. He is an animal.
Dude, by the way, he's just like, even when his defense is huddling, he's just always in a 4-point stance. He doesn't even join the huddle. He's just constantly, even around the house, he's just crawling around.
So you're telling me that he could play the end or the 3-tech?
Yeah, he could.
I think at 274 is what his listed weight is. He's going to want to bump that up if he's going to play interior defensive line.
Correct.
But he could rush on a third down.
Yeah,
in the nickel.
He's lean, and I mean he's lean as in he's 6'4", 275. But I mean the guy is an athletic.
Well, look at that.
I'm like 5'8", 275.
There you go.
For God's sakes.
But his pressure lane
too.
You're a guard, so am I.
You'd be better than Drew Samia and our guy Dakota Douglas.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be that bad.
His
pressure rate was near the tops in the nation, and I think he's probably going to be a legitimate option for the Vikings. His cons?
Yeah, I want to know, like, what is the chance that he becomes, who are some of these dudes that busted out like that? Who's the Wisconsin guy that they drafted in 2004?
Erasmus
James.
Yeah. So high floor and high ceiling is what most experts have said about him. So he's got a high floor and he's got a high ceiling. I think he's going to have to be well coached. And that's what a scout told me, literally. He has to be well coached. What the scout told me was he is a robot and technically sound. Literally his words.
I feel like then the Vikings would be a great environment because, they've brought, Daniil Hunter was also kind of he's an athletic freak, but someone's got to coach him up. And I'd say the Vikings did. So
absolutely. So yeah, the scout told me he's robot and technically sound. That was the exact words. He will punch you in the chest, but he needs to be coached well. How about that for some more football
I think that's
terms?
illegal.
He's Arnold.
Yeah.
He's Schwarzenegger. He's a robot who'll punch you in the chest.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that without getting flagged.
I think best case scenario is probably like a Jason Pierre-Paul. Like I think that's probably, and most experts would agree with that as well.
With more fingers.
With more fingers and doesn't like to play with fireworks because he's an adult who doesn't hold a flaming firework in his hand.
JPP's been great.
Yeah,
but think about how much better he'd be
if he had all
hand.
5
fingers.
fingers.
Phenomenal. It is phenomenal. That man is a specimen.
So
Kwity Paye is a specimen.
I think if the Vikings were on 14th, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Kwity Paye is taken. And I wouldn't be upset.
So how would you guys feel then if Roger Goodell walks to that podium, or I don't know, he'll probably just be like in his basement with his smoker's jacket on again, like last year.
Right.
And he walks up to that Zoom camera and he says, with the 14th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Michigan defensive end Kwity Paye. And the plan is Danielle Hunter comes back, maybe gets a raise, and Kwity Paye, and now they got their bookend pass
And Michael
rusher.
Pierce is at the nose tackle. Yeah, that could be pretty good. I am not going to be one bit surprised if they take D-line to start with. I'm not going to be surprised at all.
I think it's the leader in the clubhouse right now. I think they're more likely to draft that position based on who's there than a guard. I don't think they're going to take a guard with the 14th pick.
I think that's accurate.
I agree with that. And I think that the two objectives probably when it comes to filling needs on defensive line are probably defensive end and a 3-tech. And I don't think that there is a 3 technique worthy of the 14th pick. So I think if you were going to go 3 technique, you'd probably move back and try and recoup the second round pick that you lost in the Ngakoue trade. But Zim is definitely going to be in Rick's ear. Let's say that to improve that defensive line because it was awful. Hey, have you guys tried just for fun ever going into a 4-point stance or 2-point stance? It will damn near kill you.
A 3-point stance.
3-point
Or
A 2-point
stance.
stance. You're just standing.
That's my
Sorry.
stance.
3-point stance. Have you guys tried that? I've tried it just for fun.
Do it right now.
On my Corona hard seltzers, I've done it in the fridge. Oh,
Can't really hear you guys.
My
but
back, it hurts my back.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
you're
going to lie to
see
you right
this
now.
on camera.
oh God. Got a 3-point
He might not get
stance.
up. He might not get up, Dex.
Oh, God.
That's fine. Oh, I have to get up now.
And you have to, but I mean, when I say hut, you've got to move from that stance. Like I can balance myself in the stance, but I can't move.
You might be more of a 3-point stance guy, and then like hold the other arm out for balance,
Right.
or like put the other hand on
I
your
would stand
other
up.
defensive lineman friend.
I would stand up. I'd stand up the whole time.
I think that's why, like, once guys get a little bit older, they want to go to those 3-4 defenses where they can just let me just stand back here as a linebacker.
But like how you get off the ball in that stance is really beyond me.
Yeah, I mean, I quit football in 8th grade, and part of it was the 3-point stance being uncomfortable.
But like,
and then
there's
the other
some-
part was I just didn't like running. So
Oh, that's why I quit.
Oh, I liked running. I have no problem.
I went to a captain's practice at Benilde for
But I didn't play football.
one day and I quit
Yeah, football.
because we ran a lot. It's like, this ain't going to work.
That was the
for
one
me.
thing I know I could be good at was running.
Yeah,
I was
well,
so
because you're
lean.
super thin.
Yeah, it was great.
yeah, when you're a little bit bigger, it's
Yeah.
pretty terrible.
Yeah, you've got a build that's perfect for a guy who likes to run.
Yeah.
I remember one time
Phil and I, not so much.
I played like 3-4 years of football from like 5th grade to 8th grade or something. And I remember like one of the junior high football practices, which Minnesota's pretty hot in August. You get those 90-degree days. And we had, I sort of realized we were being duped and tricked into more conditioning when
How are you duped?
the coaches said, like the day before, the coaches said, if you guys don't pick up everything off the locker room floor, then you're going to get more conditioning the next day. Right.
Right.
And then they like found a piece of tape or a sock on the locker room floor the next day. Right. And so we had to do what was called a 350 multiple, where you have to run around like is it 2 football fields, whatever it is. Like you're running around 2 side-by-side football fields. And then they said, all right, on the next one, if you all of you, if you all don't beat this certain time, then you all have to keep doing more until you all beat that certain time. And of course, there's I wasn't Mr. In Shape, but like there's a couple whales in the back who play like defensive tackle.
Yep.
And they can't beat the time. And then
Pat Williams, you had Big Pat.
then we all have to run more, and they wouldn't give us water breaks.
What?
This is before Corey Stringer.
So you couldn't get a water break?
couldn't get a water break, and I was like, I'm playing
As a kid at Buffalo High School?
I'm playing baseball. This is ridiculous.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Baseball
for a high
practice
school
is way
kid.
better. You just stand in the outfield and shag flies for
Oh,
3 hours.
Once I learned,
great.
once I learned that I couldn't play second base and I could just play the outfield, that was one of the best realizations of my baseball career.
Just sit out there. Fly ball comes at
Yep.
you once every 10 minutes.
Sometimes you don't even have to catch it. Sometimes you just let it go over your head. It's great.
Yep.
Or let it drop.
It's the best.
Relay.
Yeah.
Relay.
Speaking
Cut.
of Juan Pierre,
Cut and hold. Cut and hold.
I needed two cutoff men for Noodle Arm over here, but that's okay.
I could see you not getting the ball back.
No. I remember
Not your fault, but I
Yeah.
could see the second baseman
I didn't
coming way out in the right
I
field.
didn't get contact till I was like 17 years old. And I remember I went to an eye appointment and then I had baseball practice right afterwards, which was actually kind of dangerous because like you get your eyes dilated. And then I went straight to practice and the doctor was like, no, you should probably, rest, don't go to practice. I was like, I'm going to baseball practice. It's fine. And I remember no, this is actually a good story. I remember so vividly having my contacts in and I was in left field and I could see all the seams on the baseball rotating, like coming at me as a fly ball. And I'm like, this is what the fly ball was supposed to look like for the last 10 years. I was just seeing this white blur coming at me and I was able to finally shag a fly ball and it was too late because at that point I only had like my last year of eligibility to play baseball.
What would your life and career have been like if you had gotten those contacts like 10 years earlier? You wouldn't be doing this.
I think I wouldn't be hitting 9. It might be hitting 2, might be hitting 1.
He'd be in the league.
Yeah.
He'd be the 9th ranked Twins prospect who they wouldn't give up for anything. No, we still got this 27-year-old Declan Goff. Come on, Thad, let's trade him.
By the way, we have one more Thad soundbite.
Okay.
If you want to guess, I'm going to say existentially. Existentially is the word.
What's the soundbite you're hovering over?
J-Hap.
J-Hap.
Succulent. I'm going succulent.
Wow. We really like J-Hap. He's a succulent.
Succulent. He throws a succulent ball.
Well, Darren, I think you've seen over the last couple of years, we've been very attentive to. Obviously, we're looking for the most talented players we can possibly recruit.
Attentive.
But we're in a beneficial spot. Free agents view us as a very competitive, attractive destination. So we're allowed to be a little selective. We can marry up talent with makeup.
Marry up. Marry up.
They'd be a little too selective.
Did they sign J-Hap or Colfax?
Phil Mackey.
The one thing that sets Phil apart is Phil's been really good for the game. He takes time out for people. And
Judd Zolgad.
One of the most well-respected, esteemed journalists. Guy seems to break news before you even knew there was something to break.
Mackey and Judd.